245.
Okay, let's go. So today is the start of what we're going to do is a series on the Google items required, or the Google Suite items required to pass the level 1 certification. Dan and I just went to the class, and really a lot of the stuff we think that most people...
actual class at Soida.
Oh. Yeah, we went to a Soida class just to make sure we know what those things were, and then...
and they Soida covered stuff.
And then we wanted to share that information with the rest of the staff. So I'm going to go on Do Not Disturb, so not all-call, which I did push.
Okay.
There we go.
You're recording or streaming or whatever?
Yes, yeah, yeah. And that's for you, Dan, to log on just in case somebody else comes on at the same time. And I want to make sure the mics are working. And yeah, everything is okay. So we went to the course, and it was, I'm going to say, extremely fast-paced. And we wanted to break it down into smaller chunks. So we thought we'd start with one thing at a time. And so today is just Google Docs. Then we're going to do one thing at a time as we go through with the different Google pieces that are part of that level 1 exam. And we wanted to make sure everyone understood. Now, I'm on Google Drive, not Google Docs, which is not the same thing. A lot of people, because of the naming convention having changed, I am using the Chrome browser, and am logged in, not as myself, but as I'm a teacher, which is just a generic school account, so that wouldn't have all my crap.
So what is level 1 certification?
So there are different level certifications from Google. There's level 1 certification, which is basically saying I know how to use everything. And I wouldn't say that it's at an extremely high level. The level 2 is called the advanced certification, which is I know how to use the same things more. And I would say with what we go through today and on here, most of you are going to learn maybe one or two things, because I did. Some things I didn't know how to do, particularly on Google Docs and some of the pieces. But I would say most people that use it are going to say, I knew that kind of thing. So, and then you get a Google certification that's good for 3 years, and you have to retake it every 3 years to show that you're staying up on those items and the changes that have come through with those items. You don't have to pay for the recert, you only have to pay for the initial cert, which the school's going to pay for anybody. Okay, it's $10. It's not like it's an expensive thing. When you're ready to take the test, you sign up at their site, give them the cert number, they'll email you a username and password for a fake domain that you'll do everything with, because the test itself is 20 questions, multiple choice, and they were all multiple choice. Some of them were check 4 of these that apply. Some of them are pick the best kind of thing. And then there are 11 scenarios that you have to be on their domain to do their scenario, like make a Google site, make it have these pages, and put these things in the pages. They give you all the stuff, all the text, all the documents, everything. There's nothing that's like, I have to go and do research. They made you Google one thing on my test. Okay. Google one thing, copy the paragraph into this document. Okay. So it's not like you have to do, but it was, I will tell you that it's a 3-hour, and it took almost 3 hours to do. It wasn't like, 3 hours, they give that for the slow people. Right. No, they gave it for, unless I'm one of the slow people, they gave it for everybody. So,
like me.
But there was a time limit.
There was it's 180 minutes. You have to do it. When you're done, you submit it, and within, 20 minutes, you got a you passed thing and your little stamp to put next to your name. And after level 2, there's a Google certified instructor, and then there's a Google innovator after those. And innovator and instructor are not the same thing at all. Innovator is, I'm a teacher who does cool stuff with Google, and here's what I do, and you have to submit a kind of a case study and what you've done Googly and how you've done it. So that's what the Google innovator thing is. I will tell you that Dan and I are going to go all the way through the Google instructor, I think. I don't know if we'll do the Google innovator, because that's really, oh my goodness. Yeah. Anyway, so today's on Google Docs and what we can do with Google Docs. I will say that I would recommend. Why is this making me do that?
Why am I not able to switch over to
Why is it having me
Utilist tab?
sign in again when I already signed in? I'm just going to do that. Okay, so we're going to do it here through Drive, but you could easily do it another way. But if you're logged in, you know, you go to the little, what do you call it?
Google
Letterbox.
Yeah.
To drop down to do Drive. And I will also say you can go straight to Docs. So any of these, I always start at Drive, but you can go straight to Docs to do the same thing if you're working on Google Docs.
It's a Google app menu bar.
And this is movable. So I've had people say, why is that down there? I never use chat. You know, you can arrange this and it will show up that way every single time you log into that account. So I have the stuff I use up top. I've obviously never used this one, this account this way. And then I move the other stuff down because like I don't use Google Plus and it's going away. So we'll go ahead and start with Docs. So I can to make a doc, first of all, I can just hit near here. I can say new Google Doc, or I can go to Google Docs and do the same. These are the same place. Before we get into Google Docs, I do want to say anything you have in Word can be uploaded and turned into a Google Doc really easily. I just had somebody ask me that last week. If I'm on Google, let's see if I can get it to come to the window. And I've got a Word document that I already have that I want to start using as a shared document, because really the point here is to have anytime access, to collaborate, to have it backed up to the cloud all the time, and to become a more paperless society, right? If we didn't care about any of those things at all, we wouldn't be using Google Docs. So we'd just be printing it out and passing it around, right? So if you've already got one that you want to, all you have to do is drag it onto, you can see I'm dragging it onto the page right there and let go, and it's gonna upload it right into your Google Drive. Now it's not a Google Doc. See the Google Doc versus the Word doc, but I can easily turn that into one. If when I click on it to open it, I go right here and I could say open with Google Docs, and now it's going to convert it and turn it into a Google Doc.
Is it converting it better than it used to?
I don't know, because I don't have a
Okay.
used to, you know.
Okay.
By the way, when I leave this on the door and say, I'll be right back, they never look at it, they just drive away. They don't even walk up to the school. That was from a snow day. Then I'm like, I'm here, I need this part. And they, no. So anyway, not to smash on anybody, but in fact, FedEx didn't even stop at the building. You know, I'm watching the security camera. They said they came at 8, no one was here. No truck even came. They saw school was closed. They can get off task. So this is a Google Doc. As soon as we start typing, you can name it, but obviously you want to name it, so I'm going to say biology project. Okay. So we're going to say this is a group project because that's kind of the whole point of doing Google Docs. Not only to do it on our own, but to do it and share it with other people.
Yeah.
So if this, for instance, was a biology paper that we were working on, and I don't have a bunch of text here, so I'm going to go in. I'm going to Google a biology paper and see if I come up. Oh. And just see if I can come up with one. Maybe that I can cut and paste.
A-level biology.
Physics and math. Why did that come to physics? Okay, well, let's see. Are these example papers?
I don't even know
They're
where,
like
where you are. So.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was really hoping I would get like a student's paper to copy and
Yeah, I don't
paste
know what that is.
into here. Because I want some text.
Fine.
I'm
Here,
not sure what
go
that
back
is.
to the document. Take your Explorer. Just then type in biology. Enter.
That'll get you taxed.
There's some text for you.
Okay, well I'll just grab some text and throw it over there. Just so I have some text in my thing. It's not as much as I would like. Remove the hyperlink, unlike what students do, and leave it in the paper and don't even know they just told you that you copied their paper. Anyway, so the formatting stuff is the easy part of Word. I don't think many people have any problems with this. It's just like on a Google Doc, it's just like Word. I can grab my text, I can change my font to fonts that I'm more used to. I can actually add fonts. I'm used to Arial, so I use that. I can change my font size. If I want to change the indentation around the page, I will go down and,
Page setup.
where am I at? Do you see it?
Yep, second to the bottom.
Oh, there we go. Go to page setup, and that's where I can change my margins around the outside for if I'm going to print the document, which most time I tell students just leave it the way it is because you're going to submit it to me as an online document for me to read anyway. So your attempt to try to squeeze more into or less into a page.
Yeah.
But I will say that I often check this if I'm assigning a document. If I say write a 2-page paper, there are students that are going to go and make this 1.5, 1.5, you know, and all of a sudden you're like, why are the margins so big? So I have had that happen before. So does anybody have any questions, I guess, on basic editing? I don't think there's anything cosmic about editing a document, typing a document itself. Is there anything that if I want to do my formatting, I want to do my line spacing to double space because it's a double spaced paper, I just do that under formatting. I don't have any add-ons or anything that I use in Docs. If you don't know, if you start, it's easier for you to find later. So I always have things I'm working on starred. And that's really so that in Drive, when I'm back here in Drive, I just look at my starred stuff, and you can see I only have one thing. And this right here is the shortcut I have on my toolbar, is to drive starred, because if it's not starred, it's probably not something I'm working on right now. And when I'm done working on this, I just unstar it, and then it's not over here in my starred stuff when I come to work. I use that as my active stuff. What?
Is that started?
Started.
Yeah.
Starred.
Did you notice
I
that?
starred it.
No, look at the end of it. It's starred, E-R-D. Is that how you...
What?
Is that starred?
S-T-R-R-E-D.
Yeah, starred.
Starred.
It has been starred.
To be starred.
Otherwise, if you don't double the R, it's scared.
I don't even know if it starred was a word.
Hey, you're not allowed to argue. She's in
Is there like word art or
Okay.
I'm not-
So is there
definitely-
word art? That's a good question. So
I'm
there
just showing my
is. There
interest.
is. It's not nearly as good as word art is in, well,
or
Word,
text,
right?
Yeah.
So
Or text
I can
box.
go and I could do
Insert.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
insert, and where's it at?
You're looking for word art on
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. Or send it for like,
Where is that at?
because that was one I.
I've
could
done
not
it. It's
find.
very, very basic, and
And maybe that's not.
The word art one would actually come out of the drawing.
Oh, maybe.
no. That is
Oh, Google Draw?
no.
You have to go to
The one
that?
they showed us in Doc was in Doc. It's not in Drawing.
Are you sure it was not actually in slides?
No. No, the one she was showing us in here was right.
Then, all right, go back then under format.
That's what I thought. I thought it was there, but I'm not seeing.
But you could always file, make it back a Word document, add all the stuff you want, and then bring it over here again.
You don't get everything.
Maybe,
exactly
but there
the
are
same.
some things that doesn't format it right.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. That is a true statement. Where is what I'm looking for?
I was just asking, so I haven't been able to
Do you
find
think
it.
the one she showed us was only in slides that I'm thinking of?
What does
Man, I'm stumped. Okay, I'm gonna put it
All right,
in
so
here.
what's the drawing do? That question has been asked. I think that's where you can do different
Google
shapes,
Draw?
shapes and stuff.
Yeah.
Right, well, on the insert draw here,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
So
What does it?
if
that
you
do?
do that, if you say insert a drawing, then if I add a new drawing, then I'm in here, and basically it's kind of a drawing tool area that I can go and do stuff, and then when I hit save, it puts that drawing into.
This,
So it's
this is how you get that.
is that where it was at? Well, I don't think so. I'm you know what? I don't think I can really argue with you because I'm probably wrong.
I didn't know if it gave you more options other than just in a text box.
No, there was.
Looks like that's what you're doing.
Yeah,
In a text box.
it was. Gosh, Gosh darn it, Dan, she showed us that's one thing that
Here's
I
how
didn't.
to insert word art callouts and shapes into Google Docs.
What?
I'm reading this.
Well, so how do I do it?
All right, that's
The shapes are
under
right
this
there.
one. Yeah, but see, you're.
Shapes are left of the text box.
Yeah. You're-
Keep going left. Yeah, there's shapes, and then you can. Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's those things.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's as much as you can get.
that's not what I'm thinking. You know what I'm talking about? How she did the backdrop and all that stuff on it. Thank you for asking the one question I was unprepared for.
So
Jonathan.
that's what I do. That's why I show up to these. I was just curious
There
because
was one that she showed us
That's
that
the
did
one thing
exactly that I really thought.
I haven't been able to figure out how to do that.
So you can see it just added it there, but
Yeah, that's no different than a tech box.
no, that it really
All right,
isn't.
here.
Although you
No,
can,
here, go back,
Then
please.
you, it says down.
All right,
to
go under action.
Okay,
Yeah.
just from that.
So you can
Okay.
format.
word art. There we go.
Ah.
Where did-
Okay.
So it's in the drawing actions.
Yeah,
Yeah, where
Okay.
you would think that's of course where you'd think it would be.
because it's word
There we
and it's
go.
art, but it's pretty doggone plain.
And that's what they said. They said you can't bend it around stuff like you could in Word. That's basically it. You can change the colors, you can change the size, and then when you hit save and close, it's word art in
Now,
there.
those do actually have fonts, so it doesn't have to be that straight bold
Right.
like that.
Right.
So there is some things you can do with
You
it.
can
You
change
can
the
color
color,
in the
yeah.
inside, the outside. You can change the thickness,
Is
and
there
the
like
color of the
shadows or
lines.
anything like
Yes,
that?
Yeah.
shadows.
Okay.
You can control
Yeah.
how far away they go and stuff like that with it.
Where did she show how to do that? I don't even see.
Actions. Is it back in
Fill
there?
in color.
I didn't
Huh.
see anything other than that.
Go.
And I'm
once-
pretty
once-
sure.
Once you're out, come out of this. All right, and then see.
What?
I don't know if it's cardboard.
Don't worry, you can move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good
But,
question because
yeah,
I don't use word art.
I was gonna say, you found that.
I'll be honest. I use documents for
Shareable things.
yeah, and to replace Word, but I don't use word art in Word either because I wasn't doing artsy stuff. I was doing papers, right? So you didn't need word art in a paper. Although if you're adding graphics for a biology paper, maybe that's a good example of when you would.
Most of the time I don't.
So I want to talk about sharing while we're here. So if, for instance, a student wants to share something with you, if they're not using Classroom, and that's a whole another course that we're going to do. If they are using Classroom and you assign it, it's going to be shared automatically to you. But if you're not using Google Classroom, then they have to remember to hit share and share it with you. And I want to go over the different shares here because people kind of make mistakes. So the first thing I can do is I can share it to a specific person if I want to share it with you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
And by default, it's always, they're assuming that you want them to edit. But you can say, no, you can only comment, which means to add comments.
So they can see it.
They can
and
see it
comment.
and they can add comments to the side, but they can't touch your original document.
Right.
And then view is just that, they can view only. And there's advanced, and I want to point out advanced, okay?
Okay.
So if
That
I go
makes-
advanced, that's when I also have these other advanced options. For instance, if I want Sharon to be able to edit the document, but I don't want her to share it with anybody else, I can share it with Sharon and say, prevent editors from adding other people. Because by default, if I make Sharon an editor, she can make Judy an editor.
Right.
And I didn't want Judy to edit because she's always harshing on my English and I just don't need her. No, anyway, I'm just kidding.
Where did you get that?
You just hit
the
advanced
pen?
on there. So when I hit share, I'm going to go back all the way here and
there's
cancel
advanced,
out of
but
here.
I saw that the pen at the side you clicked on, and then
So when I hit share and I add somebody,
you clicked on that pen, right?
so I picked, the pen is to change the access level of the person you've just added. And you
Okay.
can add a group too. So I can add NTLS staff and say everybody in NTLS staff can now view this document. Yeah.
Show her the other icons.
The advanced.
So I've got, and then view, so that's your basic editing of people in the organization, because that's all I have here. And then advanced is when I say, what can other people do? And this is really a prevention thing. So do I want to keep other editors from being able to add new people? And like I do this on our password file, I
Yeah.
disable the option to download, print, and copy to others. So they can view it, but they can't make it their own. So if you're at a conference and you're giving a presentation, you want them to see it, but you don't want them to make their own
Yeah.
copy of it. That's what that click is for as
So
well.
is that, so I sent someone a Word and they made comments, but when they sent it back to me, I couldn't see the comments. Did I maybe not click should I have clicked something on the?
If you said view only, then their comments wouldn't take. But I want to go up a little bit further to the other access. So right now, this is who I'm inviting on here, but there's other access too. So I'm going to hit change here to
What's
show
the
you.
default?
It also depends on where they make the comments at, too.
What's the default, that they can edit it?
If you share it, the default is they can edit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Now, if they're outside the organization, you have to make a further change too,
Oh, that's
because
okay, that's what it
because
was.
when you share it, and I just hit the I'm gonna have to go back, but so right now it's shared with specific people. But do you want other people, anybody else, to be able to get it? Like when I do a presentation, I do this one. Anyone with the link can have access. No sign-in required. It's a dummy file, right? So that not everybody has to sign in. Not everybody has to. So this is only specific people. This is only National Trail. This is only National Trail can. So if you read it, so this
Yeah.
anyone at National Trail schools who has the link can access it. Anyone at National Trails can find and access it. Anyone who has the link can access it outside, and this is Publix on the Lab. You can find
So
it Google. I
do we
never
have
knew
a
that, by the way.
default for that too? Because they were outside our school.
The default is what it's on right now, specific people. So I can invite somebody outside the school, but if I don't have that other thing checked, I can't share the link
Okay,
to anyone outside the school.
that's what
Am I
it is
missing
then, I
anything?
think.
What she was talking about on the comments, though, is where they actually show up at, is that there are two different places where comments.
Okay, well, let's go to comments next.
I have a question,
Yeah.
I think first, and maybe it's later, just tell me. Okay, I had a document that was my master with the directions and what they needed on it,
Okay.
and their starter paragraph.
Okay.
right? So I shared it with the students, that they could view it,
Okay.
okay? And what I had them do was make a copy of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then create their own file by changing
Exactly,
the name.
yes.
Is
Yeah.
that pretty much the
That's-
best way
yes,
to do it?
That's actually perfect.
That's the best way without using Classroom.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah,
we do the
without
Classroom
that.
thing, if we use Google Classroom, you can say, here's the starter document, make a copy for everyone, and they just get a copy that's already shared with you.
Right. I'm
Which is
looking
one of the
forward
nice
to
things
that.
about Google Classroom is that if you're doing a lot of Google documents, it organizes them for you. And it prevents the student who didn't pay attention, because it's not any harder. It's just if they didn't pay attention, they didn't share it with you. And I'm telling you, I only have 7 people in my hardware class, and invariably 2 of them don't have their presentation shared to me when we start presentations. And I'm like, I've been requesting access for a week, you
Oh,
know,
yeah,
and
that's
it's
not
very annoying. And that's where Google Classroom is nice,
Yeah.
because then you're not as annoyed. You're still annoyed. But, so anyways, that's the sharing. So we have the ability. I'm gonna hit send. Jonathan's gonna keep getting email addresses and say done. We have that ability. The other thing besides doing people is to get the shareable link, which is nice if you want to just post, because I don't want to do this to my class, right? That's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I want to get a shareable link to my class.
Yeah.
So I hit this get the shareable link, and I have to look at this. So by default, anyone with the link can view it. So I can just take that, anyone, National Trail,
Yeah.
I can take that link and put it right on my Moodle site and say, click there, make a copy for yourself, and edit and write your paper, okay? So, and then the next one up is anybody from National Trail can view, any National Trail can edit, but I have more options if I want to make it open to everyone. So if I hit that more, now I can do just like I did before. Now I can go up here and say anyone with a link. So I don't need to do that on Moodle. I don't ever. I leave it right the way it is. The kids have to be on a National Trail account,
Yeah.
and because that's where I want them netted anyway. But if I'm at a conference, that's the only time I go up here. And use
Okay, so if I wanted to give them the link, I pretty much have to create an email that sends the link to the kids I need.
No. Right here when I'm in. Okay, so right here when I'm in the document,
Right,
I hit share, and I say get shareable link, and I just copy that, and I'm gonna go into Moodle,
I just click on that.
and let's see. See if it gets closer. No.
There you go.
Right. Yep, there we go. Okay, so if I was logged into Moodle, it's still not Moodle. There we go. Now I'm at Moodle. If I was logged into Moodle, in fact, I'll log into a course just so I get that open so I can show you. So if I wanted to use that, I'm going to put it in my demo area. If I wanted to use that link, I could just say add URL, put the URL right there and say, here is your paper start or whatever.
okay.
Okay? And so now when they go down, I'll go back to my demo area. When they go there, they say, here's your paper starter. Oh wait, let me turn this off so it looks a little cleaner. Here's your paper starter, and they click on it, and it goes right to that document. So that's why it's nice to just grab the link, put it in there.
Yeah, they don't have to request.
Yeah, they don't have to
access
look
or
for anything. And now they're not going to have any ability. I'm obviously logged in, so they'll have to do like you said. You're going to have to tell them make your own copy, and you can edit your own because they're not going to be able to edit.
Now, hypothetically speaking, if you were one of those people who had actually created groups, which is something we'll talk about later on, you could actually send an email to the group through here on, say, this particular paper that you put together. Because
Are you talking Google groups or Moodle groups? Which groups?
Google.
Okay, you're getting.
What I did was use
that's in
the,
there.
Which thing are you talking about?
Where you actually had to take a document and put it and share it with the group.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that's not even Google groups though. That's any group. What he's saying is, if I share it, when I go to share, instead of people, you can put in a group instead. Just like I said, you put NTLS
I put
staff.
the 26 students, so,
Right.
so I know
Yes,
that
exactly.
2026,
Yeah, you could put in
all my fifth grade.
2020 at nationaltrail.us, and it's the same thing. You're sending it to that whole group, and everybody in that group has access to.
Yeah.
So.
But if I had just like one classroom, you're saying later I'll figure that out? If it's one,
You mean if
like
you-
if it's
well,
just
that's-
one language arts class.
Yeah, the bad part is that, yeah, you could do that with this, and you could create separate groups and stuff. But as soon as you start using the Google Classroom, you won't.
It
Right.
All of
makes
this
more
make
sense
it,
to-
all
I'm
of this
waiting
so
on
much
that one.
easier.
That one I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to. Yeah.
So some of these things, though, that we're going to talk about are applicable there as well. So let's say Jonathan is the person who did this, and I want to give comments. This is one that you four all worked on, and I want to give comments on this part of the paper that I don't like the way this was written in whatever. So I can go and do comments over here, and I can add my comments. And when it, see if I can shrink this down so that I can see everything. This is obviously plagiarized.
I agree.
Okay, and oh look, I'm gonna fix my plagiarized so I don't look silly as the teacher. And I want that comment to go directly to Jonathan because I know that Jonathan's the one who did it because I could look at the history and saw him put it in there. So I'm gonna put plus J Bryant in there. Now Jonathan is gonna get an email specifically about this comment, and if I want to, I can check mark this and assign this to Jonathan Bryant, so he has to come in and say that he's fixed that comment as well. That's what the assign does. So you can actually make a whole list on that. Like if I want to say the same thing, plagiarized, but I didn't want to find out who it was, I could put a whole list in there, and put Jonathan on there, and I can put Judy.
Just do a plus something.
Yeah, just do a plus.
Judy's sneaking around.
Why is Judy Brown not coming up?
She's sneaking
Just
around. Not there.
Is there do you have a space in there?
I do. Can I just do commas
hit
in
enter,
there?
Hit enter, and then start typing her. Hit enter and start typing her in.
I did.
That's not enter. Why didn't I go down the line?
I did hit her.
Yeah, I did.
All right.
She should be coming up on my list. I don't know why she's not. Oh, it's because I'm a teacher, and she hasn't emailed that many people. She just invited you, and Judy's not invited to the document, so she's not coming up on the list of people.
Oh, true.
So that's why it's not coming up. But so anybody who has access to the document, I would be able to add that it emails those people as well.
Okay.
And then, like I said, you could assign this to a specific person and say so Jonathan Bryant just got an email. And now he's going to come in and it says it was assigned to Jonathan Bryant here, and he'll be able to come in and fix it and resolve that. As well. I did not know that. I did not know that you could comment and have it email the comment specifically to the student, so they know that thing was that thing needed to be fixed. Yeah.
Now, what he did was he actually highlighted the text that he wanted to reference,
Yeah.
all right? And then as soon as you do that, over on the right-hand side, a shadowed little comment box will show up, and you click on it.
So if you don't highlight a section, no
If you,
comment.
Now, you could
Box.
click in one place. Stay where your click's at, all right, on the
Oh, so
word
now
art
something
one.
up. Okay.
All right, and then hover over to the right. There, see it? Watch it pop up. No, back over a little bit. Okay, I'm not.
There we go. I think you have to have something
No,
highlighted.
no, you don't.
You don't?
Yes, you had to.
I thought
Well,
you
I
did
think
too.
it's different with the word art. Put your cursor different, like just on physiological or something.
Your cursor has to be down.
See, even there, I have something highlighted. You have to have something highlighted,
I think so.
even if it's a space.
Now, up there where the little pencil is, kind of straight up
This?
there. Yeah, aren't there like 3 different types of commenting? Like,
No, they're kind of commenting, but what you end up with, the editing is the mode that you're in by default. Suggesting is if you were actually looking at someone else's, and like Brian, click over on suggesting now, and it'll turn your text into green.
So, like,
type somewhere. No, you don't have to type on that, but you can type anywhere you want. All right, see the green thing that comes around it? Now, if Jonathan is somewhere else, all right, at the same time when this suggestion comes along and Jonathan likes it, if Jonathan hits the check mark there, that text becomes part of the original
see how it
document.
just became? So suggesting is, and suggesting is great if you've got a group project, right? That all 3 of you are working on it, and he's actually typing, and you're like, I would have said it this way. You could go and make your suggestion, and the suggestion can include deleting text too, and it will then take away the text and
But if
override
you
what
do,
you
if you
would
do that for a student and go, oh, I suggest you fix this spelling, and you type in the correct spelling, they hit the check mark, they're getting your corrections. No thought process need to happen
Just need-
other than hitting check mark.
See
Yeah.
how it's going like this? So if they say no on that, then your stuff just goes away. If they say yes, then your edits override theirs. So it's a nice way for when students are collaborating together to not just type over each other's stuff, but to give each of their, if you guys are working together and he's done 3 paragraphs and something really is bothering you, he thought he said wrong, instead of just typing over it and making Jonathan mad, you can go and suggest this, and you just go, yeah, that's fine.
So how did it mark out the things that you think they should delete?
When you do a suggestion, that's what.
Right.
If you're editing it, would just delete it. But if you do a suggestion, if I say I don't think that belongs in there, for instance, if I hit delete, it doesn't actually delete anything.
Oh,
It just
delete.
lines through it, and that's saying in the suggestion you're saying that should be deleted. And if the other person comes in and say yeah, okay, then it's gone. It doesn't make the change until someone accepts it. I can obviously accept my own, but that would allow anybody else who's a collaborator on the document to also accept that.
Now, up next to the share button is another comment area.
Oh, this one.
This one actually allows you to talk back and forth between people as well. So if you hit comment up there in next to notifications, then you'll actually be able to start sending ones in through that as well.
And that comment is not associated with anything in particular. That is definitely just on the document.
So
And if you
that's
also
all
looked up here, you saw everything that I had done so far. All the edits are in that comment list. So somebody else could come in and make a note on, I really think that was better. If you wanted to, as you're collaborating on a document without just hacking on each other's stuff. It's a different way to, and you know what, I don't know that students are going to do that kind of commenting, but if we're working collaboratively as a team, a bunch of teachers might definitely want to make sure they know what they're doing on each other's. You look perplexed.
Oh, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You're just wondering how.
I don't usually use the comment in that respect. I do more of the comment.
Yeah, I do too. I've only ever done this kind of comment
Yeah.
where I comment on there. I just didn't know I could send an email and make them come and try to resolve that comment as well.
Okay, I have one more question in regards to the comments. Like,
Yeah.
when they share it with me and I make observations on it or corrections or whatever, and then they come in the next day, how do they know I've gotten to their paper that day, or do they?
Well, that's why this is great, because you just sent them an email
Okay.
that they got that's why I thought when I learned that on the class, I was like, that's awesome, because exactly that. When you edit it, they don't know you edited it, right?
Right.
If we're sharing a document between 7 of us, I don't get an email every time you put in a change on the document.
Right.
It just is there, right? Which is a great thing about it, but it's a bad thing about it. So if you're done and you want them to know, the whole team to know, you can just put in a comment there and then add the team on there. Say, I'm done with my part whenever you guys want to work on yours. And they'll all get an email.
Anybody who has a white van that's parked in the back by the buses that says Sterling Bank Services, will need to move that van, please. Thank you.
So that's exactly why I think that's good, because otherwise they won't know who you've read.
Yeah.
And now they will.
Can you see who's been on last though, if students
You
are
definitely
all...
can see that. So that's, in fact, if we're all working on this together and I want to see who's been on it, all I have to do is come down and hit File and go to Version History, and I can see the version history, and now I can see this is not broken down huge. I can break it down even more, and I can name. You can see I can name those versions too. So when I go here, I can go and name this version and say, "Hey, it's our post-meeting version," so that I know which one we left the meeting with. So I could say name post-meeting. So we all know that's what we left the room agreeing on, and then I can look and see. Now, obviously, I haven't been on here very long, so there's not. But you can get more than this, and if I want to go back to this version, all I do is go back there, and then I can see what it was then. Obviously, nothing, because it was blank then. But if I wanted to, I hit restore this version, and it would go right back to that version. And I've had that happen with people coming to me and saying, I accidentally deleted a whole bunch of stuff in my document. They didn't know they could go back to prior versions and see stuff. If there were a bunch of us collaborating on this, there would be different colors for different people showing what they did on the document. So if you jumped on it right now and edited it, you would be in it. You would be showing up here up top. In fact, let me go back to the document. It would start to show other people up here in the document, and we would all be different colors that we were editing.
Does it have a set time frame when it makes another version? Like whenever you make a change?
Every time it saves. So it saves whenever you stop. So you can, I know it's not showing a lot right now, but when you do the version history,
Yeah.
and you say I want to see the version history, it usually says there's a thing that says show more versions or something like. Do you remember what the wordage is? There isn't enough versions on here to see.
That's what I was.
And it even breaks it down more granularly to the point where you're like every, I don't know.
Keystroke.
Yeah.
You can there's
Not
also
sentence.
more information on the document that you can see that if you're out and go back out, then go to tools and down at the bottom, activity dashboard. Then you can see, like here, it's like, if Jonathan were to say, yeah, I looked at that, and they're like, no, you didn't. Because I can actually see on here.
Because you have not been on it at all.
'Cause I mean-
And the nice thing about this in particular, which is a good point, thank you, Dan, is if you're doing a group project, you can see who's been on there and how much they've been on there. If you know Judy was part of the team and Judy has never been to the document, it's hard to,
Liar, liar, pants on
Yeah.
fire.
yeah.
So that's under her.
And honestly,
Under
my
tools.
personal thing is on a team project, if Judy didn't help, she would get the same grade as everybody else after she wrote an additional paper.
Something.
That's what I do. I
You should
mean,
share that
I'm
with
like,
me.
you didn't help the group, so here, write a 500-word paper on
Yourself.
the what this part of this something. But
Next time we do this, you should share it with me.
yeah, that probably makes more sense. And then you could here. Why don't I share it with you right now?
Yeah, fill up Dan's email box.
Oh, great. Wait a minute. Everything that comes from him goes straight to the trash, though.
It isn't from me though,
Filter.
so it's
Yeah.
from
I'm a teacher.
Ima. It's from Ima, so you're
Yeah,
safe.
she's good.
Yeah, she doesn't bother anybody. She's a very nice person.
She's way back.
So, let's see other things that were specifically on the exam. There was very little on this other than commenting. Throw in it had you Google something and throw it in the paragraph. There was some reformatting, a little bit like of text, and then there was this kind of stuff with.
Hey, look, there I am.
So there we go. So you can see Dan's entered in it. Now if Dan types and that the color around the outside is going to be the color of his cursor. So you can see his cursor right there where he's at. Right now he's down here. So you can see where everybody else is working when they're working on the document. So let's see the other things. Adding a footnote. We had to add a footnote in during the thing. So if I wanted to actually give credit to Wikipedia for, oops, that's not what I want to do.
You're still in suggestion.
For the, am I? There we go. Thank you. So if I wanted to do that, I could go and where's the footnote? Now I can't even remember. Insert
Got it.
footnote right there, and then you could just put one of the URL in there of the.
Which
And
you
where
used
we
to
got
actually
from.
have a tool for you to actually put APA or MLA or Chicago, and apparently it was so wrong that they finally decided to get rid of it.
Which I have a problem with that because I would rather have it be a little wrong. You know, if it was on MLA version 7 and we're on version 12.2, who cares? Your site, to me as a technology teacher, I care more about that you're trying to cite correctly than the minutia of there's a colon there now. I mean, not thinking on English
Which-
teachers, but I don't understand why that. Not that you're ever done.
Every English teacher that hears this broadcast is planning on attacking you.
Well, it's like
I don't understand
I mean,
it.
as they change these versions,
Sure.
first of all, why? You know, I went to one of my master's programs was all Turabian style, which I hadn't even heard of until I started the course. I'm like, we don't use that. We use Turabian. What? Use what? You know, I use one that we use the Little Brown Handbook. We use, you know, so different schools. It's like, who cares? As long as I'm not plagiarizing and I'm giving credit, that's what's important to me. That they learn how not
And
to
as
plagiarize.
far as copyright law, yeah, you're covered under that. If you were trying, to legitimately.
Yeah, they're not going to say, "Oh, we're still suing you
Oh.
because you used MLA version 7, and that's been outdated
That
for 3
semicolon,
years."
you were trying to deceive us without a semicolon. Like, seriously?
So anyway,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
So some of those research tools don't exist anymore that were previously there. I haven't really used this one. Is that what that's just for?
Explore.
High school teacher salary, biology high school teacher salary on the web.
What's wrong?
See how much Jonathan makes according to
Ah, yeah.
the average is $49,000.
A little bit more, Is that take home pay?
Anyway,
or-
yeah.
No, that's your.
I don't know.
That's
You
your
know, it's
tax,
like-
that's taxes.
So I should not be
Yeah, I
on this
wanna be
event.
on that high end, holy smokes, nice. 70K.
Those were think tanks.
Well, hold on a second.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Anyway,
Do you know
so
where Bexley is?
is there anything else? Is there anything else? I mean, the big thing is collaborating, sharing, how to get your stuff up there, how to make copies. Oh, we get. Should we go over-
Since you actually said that about as far as putting on a good footnote, though, is don't worry about going out and using any other sites. You can actually get Easy Bib straight through the add-ons, and you use it, and you should be fine.
I have all my kids.
And then it
use
saves to your drive automatically under biology project.
Yeah, it's in Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
can
never
move
have to
it
click. you
somewhere
never
else.
have
Does
to
it? Is
click
that what it
save.
does?
You don't have to click save.
Right.
Oh, you're asking about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all that.
It's
After all the
in your
changes have been
drive.
made.
Now,
It's in Drive.
as I'm in Drive, obviously there's only one thing here. You know, you can make folders, and you can organize your stuff. Oh, and this is another thing. What? The
I'm down a rabbit hole.
So I always like. Okay, let's say I'm gonna do this.
You're gonna throw it in two?
Yeah. I did not know. Oh, I better go to my drive now so I can see this. So I'm going to put the biology project in biology, and then I'm gonna be crazy here. I'm gonna make a new folder called freshman class projects because I'm doing a portfolio for all the writing I've done. That paper that's in biology project can also be in the other folder as well. It can be in two folders. Now I'm going to forget how we did that. How do we do that? It was in. What was the keystroke? Should never brought it up if I was going to forget the keystroke. Do you remember it? It was when you go to move it and then you hit it.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. You hold down the control key.
Yeah.
So I can add it to freshman projects and see how it says add. There we go. I'm going to
Hold
add
down
it.
control.
So now if I hold down the control key when you get to move. So if I look in freshman class projects, there's the biology project. And if I go on biology project, there's the biology project.
Yeah.
Why would you do that, you ask?
Now, since you're there, actually go ahead and highlight that one, and then go for information on
Oh,
it. The view details.
oh, right there.
Yeah.
So
And
if
then-
you do that, it shows where this exists at.
Go details.
There are details right there. That exists both in biology project and freshman class. And the question is, why would you do that? Because I actually will do it a lot more now that I found out I can do that. Because I have some things that apply to more than one folder. Like I have a PD folder, I have an OETC folder, and I have a folder on Tech Tuesdays. And if I gave that at OET in 2017 and updated it for Tech Tuesday, I can add it there. When I update it, it updates at both places. It's an organization thing. If you delete it from one, it does not delete it everywhere. It takes it out of that one. If you delete the last one, it deletes it everywhere.
So here, under the view details about it, where it actually shows you the folders, this is the better place to actually just take it out
Yeah.
of the folder.
So if I'm there and I want it there, I
Yeah,
just
so you
click
actually
that,
know
now
that's
it's not
what you're
there.
doing, is taking out of the folder. Because if you go delete, it's not deleted, it's just out of that folder.
Yeah.
But since we have an unlimited storage capacity, it doesn't matter, but then sooner or later, you're like, what the heck's that thing? I thought I got rid of that.
I know, so when you delete other stuff from people that have been shared for you that's outdated, that won't affect their stuff at all, right?
So someone is
You
giving
know how in
a
Dropbox,
shareable-
when you do that, when you remove stuff, it removes it from their stuff too.
If you delete
Like
that,
say the
does it
principal has
delete
sent
that?
us shared documents,
If
every
you
year we
delete
get.
that from
If
your
the
shared
owner,
with
if
me.
the owner deletes the document, it's gone.
No,
but
she's
I'm
saying
like,
they shared it with her.
the
If she
principals,
deletes it,
every year he sends us like.
so go to
$3
your
a month.
Oh.
shared
Or
with me.
discipline.
Yeah.
If you take
Every
it out of
years
your
I've
shared
been
with
here.
me, it doesn't delete it for me.
Yeah, if I actually delete his, this one that he sent to me, alright,
Shared with me, yeah.
yeah.
That you don't want anymore, from years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah. So I just actually, deleted the one that, from him. So it's actually in the trash can, so if I go.
But it doesn't affect mine.
Yeah.
It just takes it out of your shared things.
Right.
So you don't have to worry. You can delete whatever you want to. You're
Yeah,
not
I've deleted
deleting
those,
somebody
too.
else's stuff.
Thank
It's
you.
only
I
if
didn't know that.
if you were the owner and you deleted it, takes that out of everybody's stuff that you shared
Okay.
with.
Right.
So if you
So-
want it, you have to make a copy of it before
Yes,
they
and
delete it.
I often do that at conferences when they have something. I make a copy
Yeah, because they could delete it and then it's gone.
and then it's gone.
Yeah, because, especially that, the
Then-
conference
now,
of Windows.
if I make a copy, usually in my copy, the top thing in the copy is a link to their copy, so that if they've updated it, I can go back and look at theirs again. But at the same time, I don't like Andrew said, I don't want to lose it. So especially on presentations, if it was a really good presentation, the last thing I want to do is to lose the ability to see it because they changed the sharing permissions or like, oh, I haven't used this in a while, and they deleted it. I've been using it every day.
Or they use
Yeah.
a condensed URL, platform that's being demolished
Yeah.
as we speak.
Like Billy, or no, GooGL is going away.
Yeah.
So if you use that, and I've used it a ton. Well, if you used basically it's just GOO.GL, it was Google's shortener.
Already?
It's already gone.
Oh, 404. Not a good number.
I'm gonna Google it. That's what I just went to. I just went to goo.gl. Did I type something
I
wrong?
think you did goo.gl.
Did I?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Anyway,
No, they
so
can.
if you put in a link that's really long, like that one we just had,
Yeah.
and you want to put it on, you can say shorten URL, unable to create a short URL.
It's
Starting March 30th, we'll be turning down support. I think why can't it shorten that? It's a Google document. Goo first.
done like that.
I don't know. Anyways, normally you then get one that says goo.gl / and then 6 characters, which is easier to put on stuff. But the advantage of GooGL is this, that you can track who's been to the. If you just give it a link, you don't know who's been there.
Yeah.
If you do as a GooGL, then every time somebody goes there, Google tracked it, and you would be able to see how many people went there, from where, that kind of stuff. So I liked using that.
Huh.
Did anybody learn anything that they
Yes.
found useful with this?
Yes, and I had, okay, when you were in Drive and went to the details of biology project, how
Yeah.
did you get there? I missed that.
Okay, just clicked on it and then right-clicked and went down to View Details.
Okay,
So, and then the details themselves tell you where the file's at. So, I don't know, it's just use the move to, and then you hold down the control key and see it changes from move to add here down at the bottom.
and when you if you are the owner of it and you make a change in one folder, it all.
Yeah, there's still
makes it
only one
everywhere.
document. It's kind of like linked to these different places.
Okay.
So it's more places to find it in your Google
And
Drive.
if you share it, and
There's
another
really only
person
one
can-
person shared. One thing shared. So if they make a change, it's changed everywhere
Okay.
you
All right.
added it to. Because it's really only one document that you have
Right.
more than one way
okay, that's
to
what I
get
thought
to.
you said.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought that was interesting.
That's cool.
Mhm.
I will be honest. I'm sorry I forgot about the word art, Jonathan. I couldn't think of where that.
No,
there
I
just
just
wasn't
have-
that much stuff you could do with it.
I don't. That's probably why I haven't used it much, because the last time I thought, that's kind of.
Yeah, that's
kinda
not,
lame.
and there's no
There's
clip
not a lot of-
art,
no,
but then I don't know if you need clip art when you can go explore and say
You can add stuff.
flower,
Yeah.
and
Put
then
it in
hit
directly.
images and just go.
And
I
all of
want
that
that
is
right in there. So
all of that's not copyright issue anything. You can
What?
just use any of those images freely.
That's a good question.
That's what I was wondering.
I don't
Since
know.
it's on there.
Since it came through there, is it automatically one
I
that's
thought it was-
open source?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't
either.
think really anybody cares anymore.
Google runs the world.
It's on
They can
Google.
do whatever they want.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, and
I don't know who
and-
took the picture, but.
that if you're concerned about that, when you do a short, if I go and say I want to look at flowers, I can go to Tools, and Settings and Advanced, and I can go all the way down here and say, hey, I want to make sure that I'm only getting stuff that's free to use or share. You can say even commercially. So I can go down there and do the search again, now.
Yeah.
And now the only ones I get are ones that I supposedly can share.
You went to settings and then you went to
Yeah.
some new features.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of things that I did not realize that I could get some of the advanced things down here that I can do. So I mean, not only do you have that, then you hit advanced and wait, I was already there.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's where you can also say, I want it to be a PowerPoint file on flowers, and so now I've only got PowerPoints on flowers and stuff through that advanced search if there was some reason. The thing is, it said that, so there must be a PowerPoint somewhere on this page.
Okay.
And we're done with Docs,
Good.
though. I wanted to start with Docs because I thought most people probably use Docs a little bit.
It's great for group projects and things because kids don't have to. You can have 30 kids editing the same document.
You're gonna have 50 kids editing at the same time,
Okay.
200 people shared to at the same time, specific people, but you can have unlimited if you use the link. So if you say,
Just
share this
use
link to
this link.
anyone, then anyone can click on the link, but
Huh.
only 50 can ever be editing at the same time.
Which is kind of
Yeah, that would be crazy if you had 50 people editing one document at the same time. It's like everyone's only allowed to put one. Do a brainstorm English project where you're only allowed to put in one word at a time. So as soon as you type your word, it's somebody else's turn, and the whole class is trying to write a story and do complete sentences, one sentence at a
It
time.
looks cool when you do have a whole bunch of people editing at the same time because.
Well, Bob does all of his staff meetings this way. So, like, we're in the staff meeting, putting our notes into the staff meeting as we talk about stuff. It actually makes it so much easier. I mean, I was literally adding notes on my phone when he was asking me questions, and because then nobody has to be the secretary. You have a base document, and everybody's responsible for putting in the stuff that they added,
Yeah.
as opposed to one person trying to get it all.
That's true.
Okay, well, thank you guys.
I guess Daryl's